Welcome back to the Wisdom of series, and today we have Wisdom of Cyber Agility. Gentlemen, your third question. What can or should our viewers do to enhance cyber agility for themselves or their firms?
Yeah, I'll take a shot at it first here, Stephen.
Okay.
And, I think one of the things that in our article we talked about is doing your own agility audit. Because as you think about the cyber world, it's really a new frontier. And I think it's important for us to take a step back and take a pretty systematic look around the dynamics that are involved organizationally, and also in terms of leader behavior and team member behavior, and examine those questions around, as we think about anticipating change, how does that relate in a cybersecurity context? And what do we see as the changes that are happening, and how do we build that awareness? Which is around the second driver in terms of generating confidence. How do we generate more confidence, across our teams, but also creating the kind of insight and learning and awareness about what we do as people, that could help us, or potentially, could hurt us, The third area is around initiating action. That's agile organizations get stuff done better and faster. But at the same time, how do we respond to things internally? Do we have the kind of protocols, that help us in a cybersecurity context to initiate action better and faster, as we become aware of things? The fourth, the L in the agile model, is around liberating thinking. And Dilshan could take us into a long discussion around the sophistication and the growing innovation that's happening by all these bad actors in cyber terror. Well, we've got to try and keep our innovation fresh as well. And lastly, the E in the agile model is around evaluating results. Well, what's our dashboard? How do we measure success as we think about, cybersecurity, in that context of what we want to become? Dilshan, I think you've got some additional insights.
Yeah, I do. And it goes back to my original thing about physical safety and cyber safety. As a corporation, we are all responsible to keep our people safe. We have a duty of care to do that. At least most of us understand what that looks like from physical threats. But in the reality of the new world, as an organization, we have an obligation to create a safe cyber environment for our people, right? I think that's number one. So having the right infrastructure to protect your people so they can do their best work is now a obligation of the organization. And I'm going to challenge all organizations. That is something that you have to rise to. Secondly, I talked about the awareness factor. Society is not aware, but corporations can do a lot to create awareness for our people. And that should be a number one action. And I think the third piece that organizations should do is collaboration. We cannot solve this problem inside an institution. You cannot. And I'm as an authority on it, I believe that all parties, government, industry, individuals have to partake. And if basically the short story is go big or go home. You cannot just look at inside your organization. You have to look outside of your organization to make sure you're building this muscle.
Wow. A couple of great tips here. One is, I think, Dilshan, trying to do it yourself is definitely out of the window. You need to collaborate and have all agencies and even companies and government to do that. And then the companies can also ensure that they do this whole awareness piece, because otherwise, they're not doing their job. And they start by providing the infrastructure, but then those two other pieces are key as well. And then, Tom, I like the whole point of just having an agility audit, right? Because in the end, if you don't have the audit, how are you going to evaluate if you're doing things better or faster from this whole agility world? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put down the link to that article that Tom was talking about right here. Tom and Dilshan, thank you so much for being on our series and helping us think through cyber agility.
Well, thank you, Stephen, and thank you for sharing the wisdom that you have as well.
Okay. See you guys.